Really?
Yeah, hi.
Hi everyone.
Glad you could make it. Um, so what are you gonna be working on? And everyone in
Um
the comments chat what you're working on as well.
yeah, so I'm gonna hopefully work on my book. I kind of figured today I'm gonna try doing just like a free write just to kind of explore the characters and more of the vibe of the story without really worrying too much about like the scene or the plot. Just because it's been a while since I worked on like a book. I've been
Yeah.
really struggling getting back into it, so that's like my goal for today at least, to
Yeah,
hopefully kind of get that rolling again. What about
you can do
you?
this. I will be working on The Witch of Light. That's kind of my
Mhm.
main story at the moment. Um, I haven't actually worked on it in the last couple of days. I was sick for a few days, so I didn't get much of
Oh,
anything done. But feeling much better, and I'm ready to get more writing done. Um,
that's good.
Yeah. I did end up finishing that one chapter I was on where I had that conversation I've been planning for a while. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
done, which I'm happy
nice,
about. Yeah. So I'm excited to continue and see where the story takes me.
nice. That's awesome.
Yes. I'm dreading editing a little bit because there's like a few things some ideas I've come up with recently that I'm going to have to add in scenes as I edit.
Yeah,
Um, because I there's this one thing that's gonna happen near the end of my book, and I want to give a lot of foreshadowing towards it. So I have
right.
to add all these scenes when I edit so that the foreshadowing's there. Because I just came up with it. So
Nice.
yeah, but I still have a little bit to go before I edit. But I'm getting closer to the end, so it shouldn't be that long.
And you'll be even closer after today, too.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Mom. Glad you could make it. Are you reading? She was reading earlier.
Is she still reading the Christmas Carol retelling? Let us know
The
what she'll be
Afterlife of Holly
reading.
Face. Yes, that is what she.
Nice. Hi,
Hi, Bubby.
Becky.
What will you be reading? We'd love to know. So, have you come up with any like ideas for your story yet? Like anything big?
I'm kind of like it's weird because I really understand like the vibe and overall like the message of my story. Um and I just like have like snapshots of like different events I want to happen, but I'm kind of struggling with like this like overarching plot or like the order of what things happened. And I feel like I'm gonna be doing like a lot of like jumping around in time, which is a little nerve wracking for me to be able to execute in a way that won't confuse readers, because I want to like do like go back to like when the main character was like a child and like kind of have that like backstory that readers get to see rather than just like talk about it, and so they can kind of understand like where this character come from and like why she kind of is the way she is, kind of almost like what I assume you did in your prequel with Lilac.
Yeah, exactly. You find out why she became the villain in the trilogy to begin with.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing, although I wouldn't call this character the villain. I just think that they're kind of a
A morally great
complicated
character.
person. Morally gray, yeah, and just I don't want to say like disturbed individual, but like just someone who's been through like kind of a lot and like acts kind of neurotic because of that. So I don't know.
But that sounds fun. Getting a
It's
feel of the story and the characters.
I feel like it's gonna be a lot of fun once I get the flow of it. Because what I'm picturing, like, I'm pretty excited about the idea, but I'm like, this is gonna be hard to pull off. But I think it will be really cool when I do finally figure out what I'm doing.
Yeah. Since I'm getting closer to the end of my story, I feel like most of the like big plot points have been discovered and figured out by now. It's
Ooh.
just like the little details that won't be discovered until I'm like writing it.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. There's
Yeah,
so much I come up with on the fly, you
exactly.
know?
Like, and sometimes your story takes a completely different turn than you originally meant to. And it's like, wait, how did we get here again?
Right. I like it because I always like consider that as like the characters are speaking to me, that they're just like,
Yes,
hey, like I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, okay, that was not what I imagined, but like I'm gonna go with it.
yes.
And it always ends up being way better. So I always listen to those impulses.
Definitely agree. I always try to tell that to my mom. She's still, both her and Alyssa both like to call me Kate Killer because of a character I killed in my Desert Prince trilogy.
Oh,
They
uh-huh.
like to call me a murderess for killing her. I'm like, but it wasn't me, it was Lucas, okay?
Right, yeah, right. Blame Lucas.
Yeah, exactly. See, you get it. Hi,
Hi,
hi.
good to see
I'm
you.
glad you could join us.
Let us know what you're reading
Yeah, we'd love to
or
know.
writing even. I know you do some writing too.
Yeah. Uh,
I'll be reading Barely Departed.
nice.
That pun's a little bit of a stretch for me, but like at the same time, like I'm kind of humored because it's such a huge leap from Dearly Departed
True.
that like I kind of like it. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Christmas Carol retelling. That sounds really cool.
You enjoying it so far? Yeah. I'm one of those. I know there's debates about how every villain doesn't deserve a sympathetic backstory, and I agree. Like, just because even if they have a tragic backstory, it doesn't always mean you should be I can't speak today.
Sympathetic, yeah.
Sympathetic to them. I mean, sometimes things are kind of out of their control. Like with Lilac, she only became the villain because she of her magic. It kind of consumed her, and that's
Yeah.
so that's yeah because sympathetic. But even if something terrible happened to them, but they still became villain out of their own free will. That even if they do have a tragic backstory, doesn't mean you have to be sympathetic to them. But I do believe that no one is born either good or evil. So I feel
Yeah.
like even the evilest characters should have some sort of backstory, even if you don't get into it that much or
Mhm.
write an entire book on it like I did.
Yeah.
So
I feel like especially what you said, like no one's born evil and like
yeah,
all villains are humans, that like there's that backstory is the human quality to them,
exactly.
you know, and I really like villain characters such as like Draco Malfoy, who he you can kind of like see that the people in his life have really failed him and have really
Yes.
pushed him in this direction, and he's not a bad person. He
No.
just like
I
was in a really bad situation.
exactly. And you can't really blame him for a lot of the stuff he did with the way he was raised. A lot of times
Yeah,
your environment does kind of sway you how you act.
right. And he
But
was literally just a kid in that
he
entire
was.
series,
And
you
then
know?
exactly, and then Voldemort tried to have him kill Dumbledore even though he was just a kid.
I love that scene in the movie, and I feel like Tom Felton just like brought it to life, that he's just like shaking and crying while like he has
Yes.
like Dumbledore at like one point. And to me, like that was like the top of Malfoy's character arc. That's the
Agreed.
point where he turns. That he's just like, you just see him for who he is. It's just this like really troubled kid who
Exactly.
ended up down such a bad route in life, and it's not really his fault either. I absolutely love that.
Yes. I also like to see where he was crying in the restroom because you could
Me
see how much
too.
pressure and stress he's under and how he really doesn't want to do this, but he doesn't think he have any other choice because him and his family could get killed if he fails. So all that
Exactly.
pressure and stress was on his shoulders and only his.
That was like that part surprised me so much because I remember being like, wow, this is the first time ever I have felt bad for Draco as
Right?
a character. And I just love that. Like having everything I ever felt about his character being challenged in that
Yeah,
moment.
definitely.
So I
Like you
love that
said,
complexity.
yeah, you spent so long hating him, but then near the end you realize, wow, he is still just a kid. He doesn't even want to be doing half of what he's doing, but he
Hmm.
feels like he has to. I mean, look at his father. What else?
Yeah.
How else are you supposed to expect him to be raised?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like his father isn't the type of person to be okay if Malfoy didn't go along with it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I I mean, there's this one deleted scene. There's a few deleted scenes on Harry Potter that I wish was kept in the movie. This is one of this is one of these scenes I definitely think should have kept, and it was only like 3 seconds, so it definitely could have been. But right, but it would have changed everything for Draco's character. Like you would truly get to see his redemption arc, which is that after he was on the Death Eater side, after his parents persuaded him to go on that side after, when everyone thought Harry was dead, but when
Hmm.
Harry went alive, Draco ran towards the other side, yelling Potter, throwing him his wand, so he has a wand to fight with.
Oh my god, why did they cut that out?
I
Because
don't know, but I think they should have done it.
that is like you said, that is literally the end of his character arc right there. That
Exactly.
is the redeeming moment of Malfoy
Exactly.
right there. And you're right, it would have been 3 seconds. It
Three
would have
seconds.
made sense. I didn't know. I haven't seen the deleted scenes for the final movie. I think I said in a previous stream. I've only really seen it a few times. I don't like rewatching the last movie. I've only read the last book once because it's really sad to me. I have a
Yeah,
hard time getting through it without
right.
crying.
I can't get through without crying, but it's
Yeah.
still one of my favorites, so I still read and watch it. But uh, like there's this deleted scene with Petunia and Harry. Petunia telling Harry,
I think I saw that one
yeah,
though. That
about
one
how
was really
I
cute.
know.
I wish they kept that.
Yeah, me too. I also liked when Harry and Dudley spoke, and
I
Dudley
was
was like,
gonna
"I don't
say,
think you're a waste of space."
I thought there was yeah, a deleted scene that was between Harry and Dudley, and I couldn't remember which movie it was, but like that too, I wish they kept in because that's very redeeming for both of their characters, and you
Yeah,
finally get to
definitely.
see that like moment of like these people aren't like cartoonishly bad as they have
Yeah.
been in the series up until this point. Like they are still people. They
Yes,
just
and
were really
yeah,
terrible people.
true. I like that about Harry Potter. I feel like there are a few characters that seem just purely bad, but I
Hmm.
I feel like there are several villains that had those moments. Like Narcissa lying for Harry because she
I
found out
love
Draco was
that part.
alive. Me
Yeah.
too.
That like her like motherly love for Draco and she's just like she cares more about Draco than like what's going on. You know what I mean? That she's
Yeah,
like I am willing to give this up
yeah. I
so
mean,
long as Draco is alive.
definitely. I saw this post the other day. It said Lily sacrificed her life for Harry. Um, Narcissa lied for Draco. Uh, Alice suffered for Neville, and there's
Mm.
one more. I don't remember. Oh, Molly killed for Jenny.
Yes, I love that scene too. Not
Same.
my daughter, you bitch. It was so iconic.
Same.
So
Mom
good.
says she remembers being in the theaters that day, and everyone at that scene just stood up and started screaming, like, "Yeah!"
I'm pretty sure that was the experience when I saw it too, was everyone cheered at that moment. And that sounds so fake to say, but I am almost confident everyone was cheering at that moment.
Yeah, you don't see Molly like that very often, that fierceness. But in that moment, she's like, "I just lost my son. I'm not about to lose my only
Oh
daughter."
my god, no, Fred. That's why I can't watch or read this one
Fred, Lupin,
because
and Tonks. Those are the ones that really get me.
Lupin and Tonks pissed me off because they just had a son
Yes.
and then they died. I don't know if
Agreed.
they left their son in the movie though. Did they have a son in the
They did.
movie? Okay.
They
Because
didn't
I
get
feel like,
into it that much because, film time and everything, but they
yeah, they
did.
really rushed their plot in the
We
final
yeah,
movie.
we didn't get to see half as much with them as I wish. I love their
Right.
relationship, and Lupin's one of my favorite characters, and he's so
He's mine too,
underrated.
yeah. Yeah, I like Lupin a lot too.
Let me get some great villain backstory. I want to know what made them take the turn. Yeah,
Yeah.
same. It's always great to see why a villain turned that way.
Yeah, I see some people are putting in the comments their favorite villain backstories, but anyone else who has a favorite villain backstory, put it in the comments.
Yeah. I love a good villain backstory. I love reading a good writing a good villain backstory as well.
There's gotta be so many I'm not thinking of right now, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, in this current series, I'm writing a redemption arc, which is a lot of fun.
Hmm. I remember
My
you
first
saying
redemption arc.
that, so
Yeah,
I'm excited to see that. I've never done a redemption arc either,
yeah, this
so
is my first, but it's been a lot of fun to write. I'm going to read, not sure what yet, but I'm starting to want to get back to writing. That's great.
that's me too. I've been struggling to write as well, Lee. Um, but
When
yeah,
you get
let
back
us
to
know when
writing,
you decide
yeah,
what
yeah,
you're gonna
definitely.
read, or if you're gonna write tonight.
Yeah, and when you do get back to writing, you can always join one of these sprints with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You told Luke to kill her. I don't know what you're talking about. Lucas went off script. I keep telling her that, but she won't listen.
I think it's gotta be something like you gotta be a writer to understand, because like
Sure.
I understand like what it is that when characters start like making decisions on their own, but I don't think most people do. I was gonna say normal people, which I'm like, I'm okay with calling myself not normal, but I'm like, I don't want to insult you.
No, I'm so not normal, so I'm good. But let's be real. I don't think writers are normal.
Yeah, probably not. I've yet
They
to
see,
meet one.
they see
That's
these scenes play out, right? And they
right.
create this thing out of like nothing, out of just something they made up from their mind.
They got like characters talking to them. It's just
Right?
weird. Yeah.
Doing some revisions tonight for a side quest novel for my fantasy series.
Ooh,
Nice.
awesome. What's your fantasy series about?
Yeah, we love to know. Yeah, I'll be making a sequel series after this book. Um,
Hmm.
it's gonna be following one of the side characters, uh, Andrea, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna end up being a fan favorite. You don't get to see her that much in the first book, but in the second book, she has this one amazing chapter that's kind of dedicated to her, and I love it. Some of the things she says, I love it, and I can't wait for our readers to see it and fall in love with her.
Nice. I can't wait to read that.
Yeah, thanks. But we were saying about characters doing their own thing. Uh, I that this sequel series was not something I planned for a while. It just came to me one day. Andrea was like, "I want my own series," and I was like, "Okay, then you get your own series." Oh, Robin, the cover for this book is extremely adorable.
I googled it. I'm seeing two different covers for it, but they both have a teddy bear on them, so it's really cute.
I love bears. Everyone knows I love bears. I have a lot of bears.
Really?
I know, it's such a surprise. You have the choice of making them villains because of circumstance, or maybe you're just seeing them from the other side.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's why I asked about like different villain backstories. As far as so I haven't really watched X-Men before, but like what I've gotten from like cultural diffusion about this story is that like I think I think Magneto's the bad guy or no, but like whoever is like the bad guy in X-Men, like they have a really good point. Is like their whole thing.
I feel like that's so dangerous. Like we were talking about a few weeks ago about Legend of Korra villains. They all had an
Yeah,
actual point. They had some they had some real points. They were actually right. It's just they went about it the wrong way.
I'm pretty sure that is exactly what the X-Men is, that the villain That is a really good point. Like they're actually right. So.
but they're doing it wrong.
Mhm.
And that's what made them the villain. I feel like those villains are the most dangerous because you can't even say their point of view is wrong because technically it's actually right.
Yeah, exactly.
And the way things played out shaped them and their views. Nice. I'm always interested to see why villains became villains. Like, what
Mhm.
made you turn that way?
I
It's
know
so
that's
much
our theme for
interesting.
tonight. Is we're just gonna be talking about villain backstories.
Apparently. Hi,
Hi, Sophia.
Sophia. I'm glad you could join us. What will you be reading or writing? Whatever you'll be doing. Lex Luthor from Smallville was my favorite villain backstory.
I
Nice.
know who that is, but I don't know the backstory.
I've never seen Smallville, but I obviously know who Lex Luthor is. He was on Supergirl, which I do watch.
There you go. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think I know his backstory. Oh man, what is it about? The dreaded question. But it's kind of about several heroes working to prevent a war and fight off dark magic. Nice. Interesting.
Yeah, I know that was a loaded question. Whenever people ask me what my book's about, I'm like, oh, thanks for asking, but it's a
I
really hard thing to answer.
True. If someone asks me about a published book, I just go on Amazon, copy the description, and paste
Right.
it. But if it's
Yeah,
something
just
I
give
haven't
them the
published
link to your
yet,
Amazon.
what?
Just
Can you
give
guys
just give them the link to your Amazon. Like, well, here you. Thanks for asking. Here you go. Check it out.
right? Yes, Magneto is the villain.
Okay. I'm
Nice.
like, no, in my luck, I'm saying like the wrong character, and everyone in the comments is like, Robin, you idiot.
True. The bad guys really society for treating the mutants like freaks.
Yeah, so now that I know it's Magneto, I'm pretty sure Magneto's like all like trying to like fight against society for like rejecting these like mutants and but like he's the bad guy, but like that's like his point is right that like mutants are still humans, they just have superpowers. So
Yeah,
it's a really interesting concept. I just
definitely.
haven't gotten around to watching it, sorry.
And I'm reading at the moment, Descaling My Coffee Machine. Fun.
Necessary evil.
I don't drink coffee, so I don't have to deal with that evil.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee anymore either.
I've never drank coffee. I don't like the taste of it. I can't even stand the smell of it. My dad, back when he could drink coffee because he can't anymore, but he would literally make coffee and then like put it near me, my mom, and one of my sisters, and because all three of us hated the smell of it, and he would literally just bring it towards us so we
Oh
had
my
to smell
gosh, what a brat.
it. Well, I'm in a family full of brats apparently.
that sounds that sounds like you guys like play tricks on each other a lot, so that checks out.
Sounds about right.
I really like the smell of coffee, but like I'm so sensitive to caffeine, I really can't drink it. But
Mm.
I like the taste of it.
Oh, nice. I don't. In Smallville, he was a guy who was trying to do good but was treated like the bad guy because of his father's action. As the series goes on, he becomes the villain. Oh, yeah, that sucks.
It really sucks.
Yeah, just
Like
because.
almost like the Malfoy plot. That like he kind of got dragged into it because his father was involved in it.
I feel like that was Lex's sister on Supergirl, Helena Luthor. I feel like that was a lot of her plot. Um, that people kept treating her like a villain just because she's in a family full of villains, and then later on she
Oh.
kind of became a villain. But then I think I haven't actually watched last season yet. I've been meaning to, but I'm pretty sure she redeems herself again or something. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of her, anyways, and my mom can't stand her. But she's not supposed to be the villain. You got the whole point, Tommy.
Yay!
I like the point that society is the villain, Magneto is the antagonist, but maybe not the villain. To me, those two roles can be separate, but they're often paired together. There's
Yeah,
a
I think you make a good point, Jim.
Yeah, it's like that whole saying. There's a fine line between love and hate. It's the same thing with good and evil. Sometimes, like it doesn't take much to cross that line into evil or good. Yeah, Smallville was in the early 2000s, way before Supergirl. Yeah,
Oh
never
wow.
seen Smallville. You want to do a sprint?
Sure.
Okay, how about 30 minutes? Top of the hour?
Let's do it.
Awesome. I almost put 30 like you did that one time and be
I
like,
know.
nope, nope,
It's so tempting.
right? It's like we're doing 30 minutes, let's just put 30. Oh, hi, Alyssa. She's right next to me, but hi.
Hi Alyssa, thanks for stopping in.
Awesome. Happy writing. Hello.
Hi.
Hey. How was your sprint?
So I ended up just finishing eating instead. I had to finish eating dinner, and I just read while I was eating, so I got about 10 pages done in the book I'm reading. So,
Nice. What are you reading?
I'm reading Animorphs again.
Ah,
So I'm in the
nice.
7th book. How'd your sprint
Nice.
go?
Good. I got a pretty good portion of writing done. I started a new chapter, so I got pretty good into the chapter.
Nice.
Yeah. A lot of stuff about to go down with the ending coming near.
Yeah, and it must be exciting too, because you're wrapping up for both this book and the previous book too.
Yes. But the story's not done yet because there will be a sequel series, which we're
Yeah,
really excited to
true.
write. I already have some ideas for it, and I already kind of figured out the the new characters that will be coming on. So
Nice. Do
it's
you know what
already.
the main conflict's gonna be of this one? Of the sequel series?
Um, yeah. Uh, there's like this, since these people were all in this cursed town, they've never really left. So
Yeah.
so a lot of them don't know what's really going on outside of the uh town.
Oh, I'm
Bless you.
sorry. I could
It's
feel
fine.
that coming.
I hate when that happens. I hate when you feel it coming, but it won't come out. but,
Yeah.
but anyways, yeah. So there's this like war going on in this other town with this evil person, and she kind of meets these three people. They're kind of in like their own little like group, gang, whatever you want to call it, and they've been fighting it off pretty much by themselves. And then Andrea decides to help. Well, she kind of gets thrown into it, so she decides to help because she gets thrown into it anyways.
Yeah. Nice. That's cool.
Thanks. uh Halfway through that sprint, everyone at my house had to talk to me. I hate when that happens. But I did finish clearing the revision notes through the end of the book. Now I just need to write a resolution
Ooh.
scene. Yay! I always save that till after I finish my first revision. Nice.
It sounds like you're almost done then with at least this
Yeah.
draft of the book. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's nice. I'm glad you're getting done. I'm not too far behind you. My book's wrapping up. Well, shortly. It's weird. It's like I can see the end, but at the same time, I just feel like there's so much that needs to happen. So I feel like I'm close to the end, but at the same time, not really.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. I think I've said in the previous one that like when I was working on my book, I was like, oh yeah, I'm almost done. And it just seemed like I kept adding on a chapter and adding on another chapter. And it just was like, it was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, definitely. I'm already. This book is already bigger than the first book.
That
Like,
makes sense.
yeah, that's usually how it goes. I'm already on page 462.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, this might be a chunker because
Yeah.
I still feel. I mean, it's like I know I'm close to the end, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it because it's like I just feel like there's so much that still needs to happen.
Yeah. You'll know once you get to the
Yes,
end, though, which is
definitely.
a good thing.
Yeah. I'll be like, yes, I finished. But then I'll be like, boo, I have to edit. Especially
Yeah.
since there's so many scenes I want to add that I didn't even think about when I was first writing it. Uh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I gotta take a sizable break after I write something before I edit it because I'm just like so tired of it after I finish writing it. And then it's not as bad when I go back and edit it because then it's like, oh my god, this is like a brand new story to me. I forgot everything that happened.
Yeah, I don't know how long of a break I'm gonna take, but while I take a break, I'm gonna start a new book. So
That's a good idea. That's what I'm trying to set up for myself because I have my book is with my editor right now, and I'm trying to get started on the next book. So
yeah,
like, hopefully, I'll have at least a good chunk of it done before I have to look at my edited book again and do revisions. So I'm
yeah,
trying to get that started and then always have a different project to work on while I'm like taking a break from like one of them. So
Definitely.
I'm trying to do that. We'll see how it goes.
You got this. So close. I can't wait to have my wife read it. It's due at the end of the month, so I'm ahead for the first time in my life. Yay! That's great.
Awesome. Yeah, you finished way ahead of schedule. That's awesome.
Do you know if you're gonna traditional publish or self-publish yet? I don't know if you've published any books at all yet,
It
but
sounds like he has some books in his series already, so I'd be interested to know, yes, is this a self-published or are you working with a publisher? I'm thinking maybe publisher because he has a deadline.
true.
I know you have some wiggle room when you self-publish. You kind of make your own deadlines.
True. You can make a good thing about self-publishing is that you can make your own deadlines, but then you don't actually have to make those deadlines if something.
Yeah. I do tend to work well with deadlines, so for me it's like, okay, like I gotta just like kick my butt into gear to get it done. And I feel like if I were to self-publish, I would just like infinitely give me breaks. Be like, oh, I don't feel like doing it today. I can publish it tomorrow. You know?
I'll give you the deadline. Okay, I'll give you the deadline.
Yeah. Oh my god. Last time I said that to my editor, he's like, okay, I expect your book by tomorrow. And I was like halfway done with the book. I'm like, you're such a jerk.
Wow.
He was joking, of course, but
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
It's
god.
nice to have a nice editor like that who'll joke
Oh,
around
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, it's nice because I've had the chance to work with him a lot on short stories, so that's kind of how I decided, like, oh, okay, I like the way he works, and I think, like, he does bring a lot to my work or, like, bring out a lot in it, so it's nice if you could kind of test run an editor like that if you are looking to hire an editor. It's my general advice to people.
Yeah. Started a tiny small press with a few other people, so it's glorified self-pub. My deadline is mostly because I need to edit other projects for the press. Nice.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of the only story I'm really working on right now. I've been outlining some other series at the moment, trying to get them all ready for whenever I get to them. And I haven't decided which one I'll be working on next. I mean, I'll obviously be working on my sequel series, but what other thing? And I decided to work on like the book that has the least amount of books that I plan on writing for the series, because then I can finish it quicker. I know which book's going to be last on my list because I'm not done outlining it yet, and there's already so far 10 books. And that's just so far in that series. So that's going to be last.
Is that the one you were talking about today on Twitter? The one you asked me about character powers.
No.
That's a different one? Okay.
That one I'm pretty sure is only going to be a trilogy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. But this one is a story I've been planning for a while, and it's about witches and covens, and yeah, because I like witches.
Yeah, really? I haven't noticed. Is that the two sister witches? I don't know if that's a plot spoiler. I just
Plot spoiler.
Is it? Oh, as soon as I said it, I was like, oh wait, I think that was a big reveal.
That's a huge plot twist that happens several of the books later.
So this that's just the fanfic we're talking about. It's nothing. you didn't hear anything. Well, okay, so like your long-term fans will get a little insight on a future project for you.
But yeah, that series is gonna be pretty long, and I have like so many things planned for that already. That plot twist, obviously, but there's also gonna be this really like slow burn romance, which I'm really excited for. It's like the biggest slow burn romance ever because it goes on for several books.
I really enjoy that. I love a slow burn romance.
Same.
And if you're writing a series, I would prefer that it's like you string along that longer than just have them get together in the first book, you know. And I don't know. That's
I feel like it depends on how long the series is.
well, that too,
If it's
true,
a shorter
yeah.
series, then yeah, get them together a little bit sooner, just because so we can have some time to actually see them together. You know?
Right, yeah, like if it's like a duology,
Exactly.
you know, maybe let them get together at the end of the first book or something, and then so the second book you can have them be together, you know, and
True.
explore more of that. But yeah, yeah, I feel like I just like started two series this past year, and both of them, I don't know how many books are in them because they just came out. Um, and both of them, like, I'm pretty sure they ended up like getting with their love interest in it. And I was thinking about that today. I'm like, wow, that's like so soon in the series. Like, I don't know how many books are in this, but like,
They might
it's
not
weird
plan
that
for there to be that many.
maybe that's what I'm thinking is probably gonna happen because I feel like the like duologies are like the newest thing now that like everyone is writing duologies instead. So like that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I was just kind of surprised. You know, I was like, oh, they didn't wait at all on that. And I
Yeah.
think one of them felt like super rushed too, which is kind of why I was like, oh, I'm
Um,
surprised that they got together in this book rather than like teasing it out a little bit
yeah.
longer.
If you are gonna have them get together a little bit sooner, you know, you should really like not make it feel rushed. Like really focus on their connection and their relationship so that it feels natural.
Hmm. I think what happened was for that book specifically, I think like they had a lot of scenes cut from it since it was a very long book and it's a traditionally published book, so you know they can make demands like this book can only be this long and stuff. So that kind of sucks, but it did really kind of feel rushed in the book. Like I definitely could tell that they were love interests, but it was kind of just like, oh, we're doing this now? Like this is
Bro.
happening right now? I would have teased it longer, but I love like the like I guess like the will they won't they kind of thing where it's like okay like they almost get together but then something happens and they're like pushed apart a little bit and then they almost get together again and then like they get pushed apart. I love like that kind of like dance with like longer works.
Yeah.
Um even
Yeah.
though it's like obviously they will get together but still it's like when though.
I agree to an extent. I feel like sometimes you might play with that a little too much at times. Like
Hmm.
on the TV show Friends. I love
Oh
Ross and
yeah.
Rachel's relationship, but they waited way too long for them to finally get together and all that will they won't they got a little boring after a while. And my mom and I talk about this and we agreed that they kind of shortchanged the fans by not having them get married. Like I love the whole thing about I got off the plane, but that could have happened a little bit earlier in the season, and then we could have seen them actually get married. I mean, they've had feelings for each other since the very first episode. Come on.
Right, yeah, with that it probably was dragged out too long, but I feel like TV usually does that because
True.
it's like, oh, we got more seasons than we initially planned, so now we gotta like stretch it out a little bit longer. So
Yeah,
that's tricky to navigate.
definitely. But I just feel like you shouldn't. I feel like will they, won't they can work as long as you like just about anything. It works if it's done right. And I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes you tease it or drag it out a little bit too much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I get that.
um, the I have two more series I have to outline, and then I'm gonna design their book covers. Getting it all ready
Hmm.
for whenever I'm ready for them. And the last one I'm gonna do is the one that's really long because
Yeah.
like there's so much to do. So I'm saving that for last. But the one I'm currently on, I feel like the main couple on there is kind of gonna end up being will they, won't they?
Nice.
So yeah. I don't like when it feels rushed, but I really like functional relationships. Yeah. So maybe the following books are just adventures as a couple. I'd be into that. Maybe. You never know.
Yeah, and I like that idea when it's like they grow as a couple throughout the books
Yeah.
then, where it's like, okay, like, you know, they're kind of cutesy, like new lovers. Like for some reason the example that comes to mind is like How I Met Your Mother with like Marshall and Lily, I think her name
Yeah.
is. They were like together from the start, and throughout the whole series they just kind of like
Grew.
get more and more serious and, you know, grow as a couple. Sometimes
Yeah.
they have fights, but like they work it out. Like that I'd be kind of interested in, because we don't always get to see like that like married couple like really settling in
Exactly.
and getting comfortable with each other.
Yeah, there's 9 seasons on that show, and they got married at the end of season 2.
Yeah. So
So
that is a lot of time.
yeah. And yeah, sure, they had some fights, and some of the fights were pretty big, but they always
It
worked.
happens.
Yeah,
It's
but they
realistic to relationships, so
exactly, and they had disagreements and stuff. But in the end, the point was that their love for each other was the strongest thing ever. You know,
mhm,
they were able to work through everything that happened because they loved each other so much.
absolutely. Yay, another
I
fan.
I love Marshall and Lily too. They're
I
so
was
cute
worried
together.
no one would get that when I brought up them as a couple.
Yes, I do love their relationship. I feel like they have one of the healthiest relationships on TV. I
For
mean, they
sure.
have definitely. They have their issues. Like I have this whole issue with I feel like Marshall can be a little bit selfish when it comes to Lily, and I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people. At least I never hear anyone talk about it. But like Lily was always supportive with Marshall. I mean, do you know all those long hours she must have dealt with when he was in law school, and then when as a lawyer? Those are some long hours, but she was very supportive and
Yeah.
supportive with every decision he made. He was supportive when he quit his job and got a no paid internship to save the environment and everything. But then whenever she decided to actually quit her job and wanted to explore her art career, which is something she always wanted, he gets all upset about it.
Right.
And later on when she starts to be successful in the series, he gets very uh upset because she has all these long hours, she's never home, and the entire time I'm like, you're a lawyer, what the actual heck.
Yeah, like literally the tables turned then.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of the Glamorous Histories novels, but I'm gonna look
Neither
that
have
up.
I.
Glamorous Histories. Oh my gosh, can I spell?
No,
Apparently
you
not,
can't.
because
It's not
they
like
even
you're
like
a writer
spell
or
checked me
anything.
too. Yeah. Oh my god. I don't know English. Oh, okay. Mary Robinette Kowal. I recognize her as an author. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I like to see a couple grow too. Like I don't always like when they get together at the very end because then you hardly get to see them as a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes yeah, sure, but all the time you don't end up getting to see this couple you've been shipping and wanting to finally get together actually together, and sometimes it gets a little old.
I feel like the get together at the end works well for a standalone, especially if like
Or maybe a
oh,
duology, since that is kind of
yeah.
short.
I don't know the genre of romance too well. I don't know if like romance
Neither
like it's you have to be in a romance the entire time, or if it can be just at the end. Because I almost think like the get together at the end works well for a story that like isn't just romance, that like there is this plot, this main plot besides
Yeah.
romance, kind of like how like Ron and Hermione get together at the very end of Harry Potter. Like it's not the
Yes.
main point of the story, but they have that romance throughout that finally comes together at the end.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
so yeah, I guess genre matters a lot with that.
And I feel like with Harry Potter, that's more understandable for why they got together closer to the end because when the series first started, they were 11.
Yeah,
So they're
middle
not
school
gonna have
dating
people
is
when they're
fake.
11.
Like, Like, no one was serious if they were in a relationship when they were 11. That is some kid stuff dating.
Yeah.
Like,
So with that, it's more understandable that they got together later on in the books because they were kids at first, and you got to see them grow up and finally experience love for the first time and start to have these feelings for someone. And it's harder when you have been friends for a while because then you're like, I have feelings for one of my best friends. Do they feel the same way about me? It could ruin everything. But we got to see them discover their feelings and
mhm.
figure it out and grow up, and I love that. I was just I agree. That was messed up. They had already agreed to go to Rome, and then he took the judge position, even though Lily already agreed to go to Rome. They already bought their apartment. Think they already sold their current apartment or was selling it, and they already were packed up and everything. And then he takes the judge position, which means he would have to stay there.
Okay, I would be so like pissed off if like my significant other did that to me because I'd be like, we had a plan, like especially yeah, because if you sold your old apartment, like then you gotta find a new place, and you don't always get something right away. Oh my gosh, that is so stressful. I am like
Yeah.
having secondhand stress just from reading this like fictitious scenario.
Right? It just got really annoying, and that's what their big fight was about the last season because she found out. Yeah, at first he kept it a secret, and then he finally told her because he realized he never kept anything from her, and he didn't want to start, so he told her, and then they got to this big fight, and Lily was like, the Marshall goes and be like, "Can we talk about it?" She was like, "No, you gave up the right to talk about it when you didn't talk about it."
Exactly. That's like so valid of a point. If you
Yeah,
wanted to talk about it,
and
and that's something you should talk about, like
exactly,
especially that far in the relationship. Like you can't
exactly.
keep a big lie like that. You're just asking for trouble in your relationship.
Exactly. And I feel like Lily was always so supportive with him when he was in law school, when his father died, and then he decided to quit his high paying job to go get an unpaid intern job just to be able to help the environment, which is something he always wanted to do. And she was so supportive with everything, with all of that. Um, but then when she started becoming successful, it's like, nope, this isn't okay. And I got very annoyed. Don't get me wrong, I like Marshall, but he's one of the better characters. But still, he, just like every character, he had his faults that really
Yeah,
got on my nerves.
exactly.
I don't know if you've seen this one, but the Will They Won't They in Cheers was amazing for me. Never seen Cheers.
I've seen Cheers, but I it's one of those shows that I watch when it's on TV, so I haven't seen it in order. And I know there's like two different like ladies that were I think like love interest for Ted's character. Yeah. So I'm not I honestly like haven't been able to follow the will they won't they. I know that like there is an obvious love interest there, but I haven't seen it in order at all. But it's a very funny show.
Nice. Maybe you should try to see it in order one of these days.
I should. It's I don't know if it's on any streaming services. Like I said, it's just like the one with Diane. Yeah, okay.
Ah,
I know who that is. But they end up together then? Because I thought like she gets replaced at some point.
hmm.
Or do they oh maybe they get together in the finale, I think. Okay, that would make sense. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things like I gotta finally sit down and watch in order sometime, but
Yeah. But yeah, so I just feel like it depends on the type of series, how long it is, and all of that on whether and how well you do it. Like the will they won't they. I feel like it can be done well. There's some that I like, but I feel like sometimes it gets too dragged on and stuff, and I don't like that. I believe it's on Hulu and Peacock. They end up
I do
together.
have Hulu.
But then
Yeah.
they break up and then the new
Together.
interest.
Ooh.
I hate that.
But then break up and then the new interest is introduced. What the heck?
I hate
So I
when.
haven't. Sorry, I'm sorry. I keep talking over you. Go
No,
ahead.
you're fine. I hate when my favorite couple doesn't end up together.
That's so crazy because I know that she does get replaced, but I haven't seen the episode that where Diane leaves. But like for them to get together and then for them to break up, that is so stupid. So like I feel like me as like a fan, I would just be like, okay, like anything from that point on isn't canon. I don't accept it. It ends with them getting together.
That's how I feel about that 70s show. The last season sucked because the main
Mhm.
character left, yet they were still hanging out in his basement. They tried to replace him by his cousin, and the best couple, well, the best couple in my opinion, Jackie and Hyde, don't end up together. They break up, and it was all bogus. And I feel like they should have ended up together.
Yeah, so that last season doesn't exist.
No,
It was all just a fever dream.
no. They break up at the end of season 7, so I'm like, up until that point is canon. Once they are broken up, nope, I'm good.
That does sound so bogus.
It is, especially. I mean, they kind of had a slow burn thing as well. They had this enemies to lovers thing about them, and
Nice.
I mean, it kind of came as a shock, but at the same time, if you look back, there were some obvious points that kind of showed their attraction to each other, even though they supposedly hated each other.
Mhm.
And but and then they finally get together, and then a couple seasons later they're broken up for good, and I'm like, no.
Oh my god.
They're my favorite couple, and they should have ended up together. There will be another sprint. I was thinking maybe at 30 we could do another sprint.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. So yeah, in just a few minutes we'll be doing another sprint. What are you working on? We'd love to know. Yeah, we were just talking about relationships on TV and books and what we do and don't like.
Yeah, let us know who your favorite relationship in any TV, books, movies, whatever. Let us know who your favorite ship is.
I read and watch so much TV that I can't say just one couple I like above all the rest that I've seen. So what I do is I can usually find a way to narrow it down between just these series.
Yeah.
And narrow it down that way. So this is my favorite in this series, but this is my favorite in this series.
Nice.
How about you? Do you have it? Sorry, what?
For me, it's like I guess like what I'm most interested in at the moment. But like that's so me. Like I'm such a mood reader, and like
True.
if you ask me what my favorite book is, it's kind of just like okay, like what's the one that stands out the most to me at this moment. It's not like a thing overall.
I feel that. Definitely. I'm a bit of a mood reader myself. I think a lot of people are these days.
Yeah, I can't really do the whole TBR thing, or usually I'll do the TBR videos and I'll like list like 10 books, but I'll only read like 5 of them. But then like I will be picking from this list of books, So it's more like a narrowed down thing.
Since I read so much series, it makes it a little bit easier for me because I'll be like, I'm already in this series, so I'll just be finishing this series this month.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm reading too many like series that are still ongoing, and like the next book isn't out yet. So
I'm only reading a few of those. Most of the series I read are already out when I get to them, and I don't do that on purpose. I don't just wait till they're all out. It's just I don't finally pick them up, or I don't hear about them until they're completed. but
Mhm.
I'm trying to read more indie books this year. So
Nice.
a lot of the books that I am starting to get into are ongoing. There's two
Yeah.
that's ongoing, and there's two more indie books I want to read soon, and they're both ongoing as well. So
Nice.
yeah, so I have to wait for them, and I don't like it. There's one book where the third book in the series has come out, but I don't have the money to get it yet, so now I'm sad.
I feel you. I'm still like on a book buying ban myself, so
You want to do another 30 minutes?
sure, I'm gonna actually try to write this time.
You can do this.
Thanks.
Okay, happy writing. Hello.
Hello.
How's your sprint?
I got about 200 words done.
That's good. How did everyone else's sprints go? Comment down below. We'll just give her a minute. What's everyone working on? That's good. How did your sprints go? I hope you got a lot of writing done. I did pretty good with my writing. I'm almost done with this scene. I'm like at the very end of the scene. Probably only have a few sentences left. And then on to the next scene. I don't know what the next scene's gonna be yet. But we'll find out. Well, I'll find out once I get there. Romance. Nice. Hate to love. That's always good. I'm a big fan of enemies to lovers. I feel like they can always be pretty fun.
Hi, sorry about that. And had to be
Fine.
just as we came back. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, so I got about 200 words done and then I hit another writer's block, so
Oh, that sucks.
yeah, how did yours go?
Pretty well. Yeah, I'm almost done with the scene. I'm at like the very end of the scene, just have a couple sentences left, and then on to the next scene. I don't know what the next scene's gonna be about yet, but I'll figure it
Yeah,
out once I get there.
that's me right now.
But yeah, it went pretty good. I got another good portion done.
Nice. I love
Working
that.
on
And a
romance.
hate to love romance. I love the
Nice.
enemies to lovers trope.
Me too. It's always a lot of fun. That's good. I'm glad
Nice.
you're liking it. Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, sometimes chapter names can be hard. Sometimes they just come to me if I instantly know what the chapter is going to be about, then the chapter name will come a little easier. If I'm still trying to figure out the chapter as I go, then a lot of times I won't figure out the chapter name till the end of the chapter.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I'm pretty sure you name your chapters. I don't. The only reason I don't name my chapters is because as a reader, whenever I read books that have chapter names, it's just in one ear, out the other. So, like, I don't really pay enough attention to it, so that's just my preference.
Mm.
Um, but I think because Jim's a fantasy writer as well as Yujo Hara, I feel like named chapters is more of a fantasy book thing, whereas I read and write sci-fi, so
Yeah.
it might just be a genre thing that like it probably works better in fantasy. If you have a
I
little bit of an idea of where things are.
yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a fantasy thing. I mean, I've read fantasy that doesn't do that. Honestly, I think it's all about the author, whether the author wants to.
Probably.
I mean, I've been doing this for years. I always I'll be like chapter 30 and then name the chapter. I've been doing that my entire life. I don't know how
Mhm.
not to do that. Um,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, like why authors would like to do that, just for like because I feel like when I have to like go back and reference a chapter, I'm like, okay, well, what happened in chapter 20? I don't know just from the name chapter 20. I don't know what happens in
True.
that, you know? So I
It could be a little
understand.
easier on that aspect.
Right, that's like, oh, this is the chapter where I don't know, there's this potion or what. You know, like that makes sense to me.
Yeah. 217 words, that's good for a sprint. Got a lot done. How's your book coming along? Are you that far into it? I mean, Robin's kind of just starting hers, and then I'm closer to the end of mine. So we're all like two different opposite things. Wait till I get to editing. I'll be editing, you'll be writing.
I hope so. Yeah. I'll still be in my writer's block.
You could do this.
I hope not. It's been so long I've been stuck in this writer's block.
Well, you did just finish a book you've been on for a few years.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, like I really am trying to like get it going so I can
Yeah,
like have one book being edited and have the other one being written.
yeah. It's definitely easier not to name them, but I love chapter names because they make me curious about what might happen. Yeah, I agree. I love chapter names too. It's really fun to read the names of each chapter. Yeah, I agree. I'm on draft 1 after draft 0. Nice. Do you have any published books? Robin has not published yet, but she will be soon, hopefully.
Yeah. I
I
got short stories published, but like that's it.
I just published my 5th book, so that's number 5. Number 6
Mhm. Oh
soon,
yeah.
hopefully.
Oh my gosh.
And do you know if you plan on traditionally publishing yet, or self-publishing, or have you not thought that far ahead yet? Some people are like, "Oh, I don't know yet. I'm still pretty early on," and the other people
I
just
get
know
it.
what they want already.
I think like once you've been doing it long enough, you kind of like know.
Yeah.
But I feel like for like a first book, it's just kind of like, man, I just want to finish writing the first book. Like, if I
First
can
ever
finish it.
story. I wrote a lot of stories on Wattpad fan fiction. That's kind of how I started out. I think that's how Robin started out too, right? You do a lot of fan fiction.
I do, yeah, fan fiction, yeah. And like, I did like a lot of like forum like role play where it's
Mhm.
just like someone writes something and then you respond to it and
Yeah.
whatnot. Go back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. It got me to practice writing a lot, so
I've been writing as long as I can remember. I've always just loved writing and reading. Like seriously, for as long as I can remember, I've just always loved it. I'm one of those few people that kind of knew what I wanted to do when I was pretty young.
nice.
Yeah. So, what are you struggling with on your block? Is it anything particular?
I guess it's like it's weird because like I know like what I want to write, but like at the same time like I'm just like having a hard time just like envisioning characters or the scene or like really getting into the scene. It's just like everything.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, you were in that one world for so long, so now you're in a new world, new characters, and it must be hard to try to, get into it.
Yeah, it's definitely been different and I don't want to like write again in this world yet. Um Sorry, my friend texted me. Um, yeah, I don't really have another book planned for the world that I just had finished a book in, and as much as I love it, I'm like, I don't know if I have any story left to tell in it.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I hope you figure it out, If you have anything particular, you could always just message me and we could talk it out like we used to do when I was writing
Yeah.
my Jasmine Press series and you were writing your other book, and we would just, give each other ideas, help each other out.
Yeah, it's easy when there's like because I feel like at like those moments it was like, oh, like I need help with like a spell or I
Yeah.
can't remember what I needed help with.
I know you needed help with character names at one point.
Oh my gosh.
In our
When
little
don't
small
I?
Twitter group chats, we were all looking up plant names for you.
Honestly, when don't I have trouble naming characters? I am for some reason so particular about character names. It has to be just right.
Yeah. You outline or plan. Honestly, I'm kind of in between. I mean, I know there are people that try to outline to the detail. I can't do that because I feel like a lot of the best detail comes when I'm writing it out for the first time, and a lot of the fun detail is in the not knowing, and you don't know every little thing. So it surprises you and it's a lot of fun. But I do like to outline some things like the characters, the relationships, the main plot points, and sometimes some subplot points. I've been doing a lot of outlining this week because I'm trying to get all these covers done. Because I have Canva Pro right now, but I'm not gonna have it at the end of this month. It's like a temporary thing. So I'm trying
Oh,
to outline the series so I can make all their book covers with all the covers from Canva Pro.
right. Good idea.
So that's what I've been doing. So I'm outlining a little bit more than I usually do, but I usually do still do a lot of outlining. I just don't outline to the very detail. It's just basically the main things that I outline, so I have a vision of what I'm even writing when I get into a story. So I'm kind of in
Yeah.
between. How about
I'm
you?
kind of the same as Johara, where I'm like a little bit in between. I've tried sitting down and actually outlining a book, but then like I get like too like nitty gritty in the details, and then like I find myself just starting to write sections of the book. So I kind of just don't do that stage. I do have like a long like stage where I'm just kind of like planning out the book, but just like in my mind, I just it doesn't work for me to try to write it down as an outline, but I do try to like envision like what are the main things that are gonna happen, what's the main conflict, who's going through it.
The
Um,
characters, maybe even the relationships, so you can focus on the relationship part a little bit too.
exactly, and then a lot of the nitty gritty details, like Jahara said, I fill in, and surprisingly, like a lot of times things change as I'm writing it, and especially with relationships, because you mentioned that. Like, I remember discovering while writing, like, different characters that I didn't imagine getting along as well as they ended up doing, like, ended up having way more in common than
Yeah.
I initially thought. I had these two characters that I never really thought about them interacting, and then while writing, I was like, oh my gosh, like they have this very similar background of like being these like strangers in these like places and so out of tune with like the culture of the world. Like they have that to bond over, and it
Yeah.
just like made this new connection that like okay, like now this character, because she has this in common with another character, she's going to kind of be protective over him because he's younger than her, he's going through the same thing she went through when she first came to the city. Like it was just such an unexpected relationship that sprouted when I was
Yes.
writing.
Yes,
um
I agree. I definitely, when I was writing my Jasmine Perez series, I never thought that the MC's love interest Jax and this one, he's like the youngest. He's the only actual kid that's under 18 in the main cast. Well,
mhm.
he doesn't really become main part of the main cast till like the last book, I think. I think like somewhere in the second book, but he uh, I never really thought of Jax and Zeke really forming a bond, but in the last book they did. I mean, Zeke, his parents are dead, and his older sister has basically been raising him, and then him and Jack, and then Jax just kind of forms this little big brother role over Zeke, which comes really important at the end of the third book, and I loved it, but I did not see that coming.
Right, yeah, it's so fun when it works out like that.
Definitely, I love it. First story. Yeah.
I'm a story before characters person too, and I have to do it that way because I used to do the opposite, and then I would always get stuck on plot. I would never have a strong plot to actually carry it through. So for me, I try not to think about characters too much until I know what the main conflict is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, um, I know I usually have the main plot figured out, but a lot of these subplots, not really. Like, I have the main plot figured out, so I know what is going on in the story, and then I come up with the characters, and then I come up with the subplots and the character relationships.
Hmm.
So yeah, I agree. Yeah. My laptop's gonna die. I need to plug it in.
Oh no!
Don't want my laptop to die. That would suck.
Well, if you disappear randomly, we'll know why.
Well, okay, it's charging. It won't. I won't disappear randomly now. Mm, yeah. I mean, it's so interesting to see like everyone else's like how they start a story. You know what their plans are of starting a new story. That's always interesting because everyone's different. You know, um, like
Well, I think, like, especially since, like, I used to do music for years, and, like, the question for, like, musicians or people who write music is, like, what comes first, the song or the lyrics? And for me, it's always the song. And I can't do the opposite way. I can't, like, have lyrics and try to put it to a tune. I have to have the tune first,
mm,
because then I know what's how many syllables I have to work with.
true.
But then there's other people who are completely opposite from me, and they have to write lyrics first. So it's funny coming to like the writing community and seeing their own version of that.
Yeah, definitely. I know with my Jasmine Press series, I came up that one. I formed my idea for that a little bit differently than a lot of my other stories, because with that one, I actually kind of a scene started playing in my head. This random scene, and with that has to do with these like three characters, and then I just formed this scene in my head, and then I kind of figured out how to go around that scene. But that funny thing is, the scene doesn't even happen until book two.
Mhm.
So I just had to form the entire story around that one scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean
can't keep up
everyone's
mine.
different, and some things that work for someone doesn't work for someone else. You know, but life would be boring if we were all the same.
Right, exactly.
I've been enjoying these sprints since I'm not a big reader. Coming on here has been helping me read my book more. Nice.
Nice. I'm
That's
glad you're
good.
getting something out of it.
Yeah, I'm glad you've been joining. Thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying your book that I got you. It took her forever to read it, and I'm so glad she's finally enjoying it and getting into it.
Yay! For sure.
Agreed. It's nice to have these you know to be in this community and know other writers, and we help each other. It's a great community. I love it. Uh, yeah, I I get that.
Yeah, I don't write series, but I just like can only imagine how hard it would be to keep track of everything from book to book. Because just like writing one book, like I had to keep a separate document for all the world building I did because I would be like, oh, like I determined like, you know, how much weight this robot character could lift, and if it
Yeah,
comes to she has to lift something, like, okay, like, can she reasonably lift this or not? Like, I don't
yeah,
want to contradict myself, but like the
definitely.
more you have and the more books you have, the more you have to keep straight and keep
Yeah,
together.
definitely. I agree. It can be it can be hard to write series sometimes, but me, I admire that you can write standalones because I can't. Because once I come up with one idea, I get so many ideas for that one idea that they could never fit into one book unless I want to make a 2,000-page book. No joke.
Hmm.
I just have so much ideas, and they never stop. They're never ending. So I end up writing series. But yeah, it can be hard, and I don't want to contradict myself, so I always go back. Um, to if I don't remember something, I go back and check it or something. I also have things on my phone like notes to remember certain things that I don't want to forget. Like for my Jasmine Press series, I had a note of all the types of magics and the realms that were mentioned in
Yeah.
case one of the realms were brought up again. So I kept those in on a note on my phone so that I can go back and remember what types of magic there were. He says the song always.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I mean, I tried writing songs before when I was bored. They sucked, and I only did a couple. I'm not a songwriter, and I've always been really bad with rhymes. That's why I also can never write poetry. I am really bad with rhymes. The songs I ended up writing, I just ended up not even rhyming together because I got frustrated.
Thanks for joining
Thanks
us,
for
Jim. It
joining
was so
us.
great to see you.
Yeah, I'm glad you got some. I'm glad you were able to be a little productive. That's what these sprints are for.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, we'll see you again next time or in the future.
Yeah. Um, I have a writer's Discord for anyone that wants to join. I'll send the link in the chat.
Yeah, that would be good.
And then it's a great community. We all support each other, help each other when we need it, just talk about our writing in general. So, if anyone wants to join. So, how's so how much writing have you gone done recently? Like, have you been stuck for a while?
I've been stuck for a while. I've been working on the fic I've been working on, and I still haven't finished that. But I've also like reached a point where it's like, I'm writing fic because it's enjoyable, but like it's not enjoyable right now, so I'm not gonna force myself to get it done.
Yeah.
Um, so that's like pretty much the only writing I've been doing. But otherwise, I've been like reading a lot. Like that's been mostly what I've been doing is reading lately because that's what I do to get through writing blocks usually is just
Yeah.
like usually reading a good book gets me inspired to write my own. So,
True.
and I've been enjoying what I've been reading too, which is good.
Yeah, that's very good. I love a good book, you know.
I know you're reading Prisoner of Azkaban, but are you reading something else too at the same time?
I'm in the middle of 3 books.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
I know. I hope to. Um, 2 of them I'm over halfway done, so I hope to finish them this week. And then my other book I'm closer to the beginning, but it's also a smaller book, so I hope to finish that this week as well. Get some more reading done because I started out reading a lot this month, but then I just kind of stopped. I got sick, like I told you, so that also put a damper on things. Um,
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to finish to get more reading done this month. in the middle. I'm almost done with Prisoner of Azkaban, sort of. I'm over halfway, so almost done. And then I'm also halfway with King of Scars, which is part of the Grishaverse, which I'm also buddy reading.
Hmm.
Prisoner of Azkaban, I'm buddy reading with a couple people, and then King of Scars, I'm buddy reading with Jessica.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the other book is I'm reading the fourth book in Seekers. Well, rereading because I've
Hmm.
read this many times, as you know. My love for Seekers is not a surprise.
It's no secret at this
Nope.
point.
Good night,
Good
Mom.
night.
Thanks for
Thanks for
joining.
joining us.
How many books are you reading? Just the one?
I'm reading two right now because Animorphs I'm reading in an ebook, and I don't like reading ebooks at night. So I've been reading like Animorphs during the day, and then I've been reading like a physical book at night. I've been reading The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He, I think, which I barely remember anything about it when I put it on my TBR, but my sister owned the book, so she was like, "Oh, do you want to borrow it?" I'm like, "Yeah, free book."
Why
Um,
not?
yeah, so she brought like let me borrow it, so I'm like, okay, I'll read this because apparently it sounded really interesting, and I didn't know anything about it, so I'm reading. I'm like, oh, cool, it is a sci-fi. I actually wasn't sure for a moment there, but yeah, it's been pretty neat so far. So I've been really enjoying it, but like enjoying it in a way that I've just been like wanting to take my time with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I saw this tweet earlier, and I quote tweeted it saying that this is accurate because it was, but it was like someone was like, I have two forms of reading. I either devour it up in 2 days, or I stretch it out because I don't want it to end. And I'm like, yes, yes,
And both of those are good things too. Like for
yes.
me at least, there's books that
I
like I am hooked to and I'm just like absolutely devouring it, and then there's others that I'm like that are so like savory that I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna take my time with this
yeah,
and just really enjoy it. And both of them are great experiences.
definitely
But it
agreed.
depends on the book.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Alyssa plans on reading Harry Potter. She's never actually read the books.
I think you said that last time. That's awesome. She should join the buddy read if
Well,
she's
then she'll have to
interested.
read my copies, so she'll be a little bit behind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make it hard to buddy read the same physical book.
She's waiting until I finish the King of Scars duology so she can read it because she started reading the Grishaverse and she wants to finish the Grishaverse before she starts Harry Potter.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I look forward to hearing her thoughts on it. I'm like, Alyssa should have her own segment on your videos where she can talk about her reading experiences.
The Alyssa segment.
Yeah, and now for the Alyssa segment.
You're
That
getting
would
your own
be
segment on my channel, apparently.
yeah.
I don't know if I can read that.
But yeah, but she's sick now. I was sick, now she's sick.
Oh my gosh. Same thing.
Hey, it's not my fault.
It's her fault.
That's her fault. Why'd you get her sick?
I'm being attacked over here. I know you said you love when Alyssa shows up on my channel.
I do. She has such a presence on there. It makes your channel.
Well, on my other channel, she'll be on a video. Her and my mom will be on a video because I saw someone else do this and I like the idea. So the other YouTuber had her best friend watch the first episode of 10 of her favorite shows, and
Ooh.
had her rank them and say her thoughts on them just based on the first episode. And then
Nice.
made her own list, and she ranked them just on the first episode, even though she has seen all of it. She ranked it just based on the first episode, and so I'm doing that with Alyssa and my mom, where they. I'm hoping we do it. We're gonna film it this week, but basically, I picked 10 shows that I tried to find 10 shows that neither one of them had seen, which was really hard.
Yeah,
But
I
I
can imagine.
chose, yeah, I chose 10 shows that I love, had them both watch the first episode, rank them based on just the first episode, and say their thoughts on it. And then I did my own ranking, which was really hard because I've seen the entire show, so it's hard to separate the whole show as a entirety and the 1st
Mhm.
episode. That was hard. I did not expect it to be that hard, but I got it. So the video's all set for whenever we film it.
That sounds so cool. I really look forward to seeing that.
Thanks. I'll send you the link once it's uploaded on the Monster High Readathon Discord.
Nice.
I almost fell.
I
did
thought that literally sounded like a dog yap, and I was like, Joe Howard doesn't have a dog, I'm pretty sure.
I think she just called you a dog.
It literally like sounded like a dog.
Yeah, she gets those dog impressions down.
He has a good career in dog impressions.
She just tried to bite me. That was rude.
She's rabid. You gotta put her down now. Yeah, I don't really have any other videos planned for this month. Like, I had a couple ideas, but like I had just like haven't had the inspiration. So I don't know what else I'm gonna do this month. But also February is such a short month. I might just like focus on like getting my wrap up done, and then I have to script for my Q&A video, which I'm gonna post sometime next month. Because it's March next month, right?
Yes.
Which was when I started. I don't know what day exactly I started BookTube, but I know it was March, so.
Yeah, I'm there too. It's like I remember the month, don't remember the day. I started in June.
Nice. So yeah, maybe you could do something to celebrate your, I think, is this 2 years for you now?
3, I think. 4? I don't think I was on BookTube that long. But if it actually it feels long. It probably feels a lot longer than it really was.
It really does. But I know you haven't been on as long as I have, though, I think. Because I was inactive for a really long time, and then when we like became friends, I started being active again, pretty much. So, yeah, I don't remember, but I think I'm going on 3 years, or I'll be like celebrating 2-year anniversary and then starting 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I think. Well, okay. I think that's. I might be wrong. I think that's my other channel because my other channel I actually started first. So I don't remember when I started my BookTube. I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't remember now. I think that was my other channel. So, yeah.
Excuse me.
So
Yeah.
you don't have any videos planned?
No, I don't really have anything in store. I don't know. I don't have the inspiration for videos.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right. I think I deserve a break after like updating so much. I mean, I could do a book haul for like my birthday, because I got a lot of books, but like I also like I got books that I don't really know too much about. So I feel like it'll be like, and then I got this book.
Just read the back of it.
That's true. I mean, I read the back, and I'm like, I'm like, I don't know exactly what this is about. It sounds like a weird sci-fi. I'm excited though, because I really trust this friend's taste in science fiction. So
That's good.
So yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
But no promises.
On my BookTube, I have a 5-star prediction video planned.
Ooh.
And I'm making a reading and writing vlog at the moment.
Mhm.
Last month I was surprisingly good at updating. This month, not so much.
Honestly, same. I updated so much in January, but like I just like was doing so much because like I had Christmas book haul. I did I visited the bookstore and like did a vlog of going to a bookstore. I did the 2021 releases ranked video, and then like my January wrap up. So that's like 4 videos, like one per week. That is unheard of from me. I usually update around twice a month.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. But then I'm like, okay, maybe I deserve a break then because I did so much.
You deserve this break. Just
Yeah.
chill.
I would love to do another bookstore video, but like I can't buy books right now because I just got more books. I am like getting out of control with the amount of books I need to read. So I can't buy books, and if I go to a bookstore, I'm gonna want to, but at the same time, like that was such a fun video to do.
Yeah.
So
I've never done that. Like come book shopping with me.
mhm.
I really would love to do a video like that.
You should. It was a lot of fun, and it was just so different from what I usually do because, like, I felt like there was less pressure on me, and it was more like
True.
I could just kind of, like, experience the store and, like, film, like, the parts of it that I really liked. I actually lost a lot of footage because I was taking pictures rather than taking video, so the video was a lot shorter than it was meant to be, but now I know to double check that you're taking a video, not
Not
a
a picture.
photograph. Yeah.
Yeah. I am trying to get a job within the next few months, and then hopefully I can do a video like that once I can actually buy books.
I feel you. Yeah. The book budgeting is like the hardest part of being on BookTube.
Yeah. But yeah, booktube's fun, but you shouldn't put too much pressure on yourself, then it becomes not fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it like enjoyable for me, and the videos I do are the ones that I genuinely want to do versus
Yeah.
what I feel like I should do. So
That's why I know book reviews can be. I don't know how popular they actually are, but I know several people do them, and that's why I found an alternative way of doing
yeah.
book reviews. That whole series video I told you about, I'm going to start doing
Mhm.
underrated series. I feel like that will be more fun. I can just talk about the entire series as a whole.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do another video, but similar, but it'll be indie series.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one is I'm trying to figure out exactly how to do it because I feel like like a lot of the indie series I'm reading aren't finished yet. So do I just talk about the books individually, or the books that's been out so far, or do I just wait until they're all published and then do them all?
Maybe you could do um like for I was gonna say maybe just do the first book in this series and talk about them in detail. Because my thing is, when it comes to reviewing like second or third books, it's hard sometimes to not spoil the previous book.
Yeah.
Like I had such a hard time reviewing the Ugly series because every single book, the way it ended, it just like completely changed the direction of the plot and like really set up what the next book was going to be about. So to start talking about the next book, it's like, okay, at the end of this book, it was revealed blah, 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 blah. So this happened. It was such a pain in the neck to review it. And I pretty much had to be like, hey, this has spoilers. Like, there's no way I could talk about the individual books without spoiling the previous ones.
Yeah.
So
My
and then it
favorite.
would be kind of fun to just say, like, this is the first book of this indie series, this is ongoing, and kind of like, put it in the way like, this is like a fun new series to look forward to, too, because it's
Yeah.
still happening.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I know my videos are always spoilery because I can't talk about because I love one reason why I love booktube is because I can talk about the books I love, but
Yeah.
I like to talk about everything I love and hate about it and the details, so I can't do spoil free videos. I just can't.
I agree. It's hard to do my wrap-ups, I try to keep spoiler-free, but then there's just like these really great details that I don't get to talk about. So I totally feel for you. I haven't exactly figured out how to navigate that. But every time I do a buddy read, I'm like, hey, our live discussion, it's gonna be spoilers because there are specific things I need to talk about.
Agreed.
So that's like the most I've been able to talk spoilers on my channel, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I will talk spoilers, okay? I don't think I can not talk spoilery. I know there's this sorry, what?
Oh, I'm sorry, you can go on.
I know there's this one indie series I'm into. It's the one where it's like book 3 just came out in January, but I can't buy it yet. And that
Mhm.
makes me very sad because I want to buy it. But the first book is, so there's like this war going on. I mean, it's fantasy, and there's like always a war going on in fantasy. But it follows these two characters. It's like it's first point of view, but it switches between their point of view, and
Mhm.
it's enemies to friends, which is a new take, and I love it. I mean,
Mhm.
I love their friendship, and I'll be okay if it stays a friendship. But I also won't complain if it turns into something more. Because I
Ooh.
love their friendship, but I also think it could be a cool relationship.
You
But
could write a fanfic about that. They would be so thrilled, I would think.
yeah, interesting.
I
But
want people to write fanfic about my stuff.
me
Like, I'm
too.
looking forward to it.
Same. Agreed. Um, but uh, well, actually, technically, this book is set after the war is already over, which is a new take on it. And
Gotcha.
but one of the main characters, Astra, doesn't think that the war is actually over, even though she's the one that was supposed to have actually killed the main villain. She doesn't think he's actually dead. Um, so she's kind of exiled and is sent to this guy who she does not get along with. But then they end up forming this really close friendship bond, which I'm totally here for because we need more friendship. Let's be real.
Mhm.
Books totally like romance always overshadows friendship, and it's very sad. But the second book in the series is it's in the same series, but it follows different characters still in the same war though. And then the third book is apparently goes back to the characters that were in the first book, which I'm excited to get back to them.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that's an interesting way to do
yeah,
it.
I don't know if the characters from the first two books are going to meet eventually, or if it's just going to show the war from two different sides. But I'm
I
interested to see.
absolutely love when there's like two different storylines and then they finally connect. That's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so good. Like,
Yes.
it's like one of my favorite. I don't know if it's a trope per se, but like I just love that device that it'll be like there's two
Same.
different POVs and like for the most part they're separate. They're both in the same world, but they're doing their own thing, and then at the end they come together and like their story all lines up, and it's like, yes, this is so
Yes.
good. Like this whole book was setting up for him. So that
Yes.
would be so cool if book 3 or another book down the line finally brought all these characters together.
Same. And but with book two, when I got book two, and it was following different characters, I was a little disappointed just because the I love the characters from the first book, their friendship, and the first book left off at a cliffhanger. So now I have to wait till season to book 3 to find out what happened.
Oh my
Book
gosh,
2
that's
was
so
still good.
cruel.
Yeah, it was. But book 2 is still good, and I like the characters I met in there. So,
Nice.
but I'm so excited for book 3. I want it, but I can't have it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You'll get it eventually. Money
It
will
can be
come your way.
painful. Yeah, it can be painful to be a reader sometimes.
I totally get ya. I'm always like, I need to read every single book right now. Like, I can't just read one.
Yeah, I agree. Especially it is more. It's worse whenever you are reading an ongoing series because then you have to wait for the next installment. And up until I started reading the more indie books, I never had that problem before. But
Yeah.
I'm reading that book and then another Nancy's book.
Nice.
Yeah, she hasn't published book 4 yet, so I'm still waiting for that. And I have one book that Alyssa actually is currently reading. It's from Tabby, who got started with us a few weeks ago.
Oh my
Her first
gosh.
book. I don't own her second or third book yet, so that's gonna be painful when I read this. But
Oh,
yeah, but I plan on reading that soon. And then there's also another book series where only book 1 is out so far. Book 2 doesn't come out till June. But I don't own book 1 yet. I don't know when I'll be able to get it. So book 2 might already be out by then.
ooh, that would be
and
nice.
she told me it's gonna be a trilogy, so I'll have to wait for book 3, sadly. But
Yeah.
I want to read that. It's a little different than what I usually read because it's historical fantasy, and I don't usually read
Ooh.
historical, but I want to try it. And then there's another indie book that I plan to read hopefully next month. The author I'm friends with on Twitter actually gave me an ARC copy, so send me it so that I could
Yeah,
read it and review it.
that's
For her.
awesome.
Yeah, so I got that book for free. I don't know if it's a series or standalone though, but
We'll find out.
yeah. But exciting. And I also sent her what did I send her? I think I sent her The Curse's Light for her to read and review it when she has time.
Nice.
Yeah, reviewing is very important for an indie book because it gets more people to want to read it.
Yeah, understandably so.
Yeah. I have this one fan. I have this author group on Facebook where I post a lot of updates like I do on Twitter, and I have this one person who wants to read all of my books. She said that I'm one of her favorite writers now, and she loves everything I write. She says she loves my writing, and it makes me so happy. But she always reviews my books after she reads them. So far, she's only read the Jasmine Press trilogy, but she reviewed them all on Amazon. And she wants to buy my prequel, and I think she wants to buy The Curse's Light too. So I'm like, oh, but that makes me so happy.
Nice. That's so great that you have that support.
Yeah.
Your first fan.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Definitely. I can't wait for you to publish your book. That'll be exciting.
I hope this year, but I don't know if that's a reasonable time frame, but we shall see.
Yeah. I want to buy your book to like support, but
Thank you.
of course. But I feel kind of like how you did with my Jasmine series. Like it's a little too fantasy for you. Just like this might be a little too sci-fi for me.
I get that. So I really appreciate you for at least trying it.
Yeah,
I do have space magic in it, so there's that. It's a really tiny part of the book, but I'm like,
I love fantasy, or I love magic.
Space. That's literally what I call it. Not in the book, but it's literally space magic. It's just the concept.
I love magic.
Yeah,
but
so
at least when you publish it, you know you'll have at least one buyer.
Right, exactly. Thank God. In one sale at least. But I'm really excited. I want to commission my friend to do the cover art for my book, but I don't want to do it yet because I don't have a title settled on. I just have kind of like a working title. So when it gets closer, I'm really excited to get to have my friend do the work.
Yeah.
Because I'm very fortunate to have a lot of friends who are artists. I can be like, oh, I love your work. Like, take my money and draw me this thing.
Yeah, definitely. Now that I know how to do my own artwork makes it easier since I don't really have money right now. So I can so I can just do my covers through Canva, which is easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been doing some covers because I told you I'm trying to do the covers for my planned series while I have Canva. And then once I have a job, I'll probably get Canva Pro again because this is something I'm probably going to use a lot in my life.
Yeah.
So once I actually can, I'll probably get it again.
Yeah, I use Canva for like all of my thumbnails. So I totally get it. It's so useful.
Yeah, I actually haven't used it for thumbnails. I didn't know it could be used for thumbnails. I have this app on my laptop called Thumbnail Maker.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that
It's for
works.
YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. But I think there's a template for like YouTube thumbnail, so it'll be like the
Oh,
right size, and then
oh, interesting.
yeah, you can upload like the book covers, which I usually end up doing. So
Yeah,
and then there's
uh,
all the fonts and stuff you can
true,
play with. So
true.
yeah,
Yeah, I've so far have only done cover related things for Canva. um,
yeah.
but I already since I have most of my series is outlined except for two, which I'm working on. So I have most of my covers done, and some of them I ended up really loving. I feel like they turned out really well. Maybe I'll send them to you on Twitter and show
I
you.
would love to see them. I promise I'll keep them secret.
Yes, don't tell anyone yet.
Right, I
I'm
know
not
I already
revealing them
spoiled
yet.
one thing. So
Yeah, I usually don't reveal the cover until I finish writing it, and then I'm ready to edit, and then that's when I cover reveal.
yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, by making the covers ahead of time.
Right, I don't blame you.
So they're all ready, but I can't reveal them yet because I haven't even started most of these stories yet.
Oh,
But at least I can share them with you. I'm
please do.
I'm not sure if I showed you the cover for The Witch of Light yet. Have I?
I don't think you have. I know you
Okay.
showed me the like prequel, but I think that's out now, so
Yeah. All right, I'll send you The Witch of Light after this stream.
nice.
I've also already made the covers for the sequel series, so
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
I have so many series planned.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So many, it's unreal. I mean, I obviously have this series that I'm working on. Then there's the sequel series. Then I have one that is about a skeleton and a
Hmm.
human because because there's not enough skeleton books, and I'm a huge skeleton fan.
I really don't see skeletons like ever.
And it makes me sad because I love skeletons. I mean, I have a few skeletons around here. I just love skeletons, but they're so underrated.
Hmm.
But so I have that series, which is going to be like 6 books. Then I have one called Power Within, and that's about the elements,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but it's in first point of view, so it follows the girl that has the water element.
Nice.
Yeah, and that one is going to be 5 books. Then I have the one I was talking to you about earlier there's an alien character, so there will be little sci-fi elements to that series.
Hmm.
So you'll be excited for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That one will be 3 books, and then I have them all on my phone, so I know exactly where they are. Let's see. Um, so I have this one's called Realm of Monsters. So
Ooh,
it's a realm full of like creatures and monsters, all different types.
nice. That sounds cool.
Yeah, this one is gonna be 3. Um, okay, I was wrong. The one I was telling you about with the alien, that's 4 books. Since there's 4 main
Oh,
characters,
okay.
they all have their own like plots in a book.
Nice. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Then I have the fairy and mermaid one I told you about. I was
Hmm.
struggling a lot with the title for that one.
Did you
Um,
ever come up with a title or no?
the series title is just going to be called Fairies versus Mermaids, but each book has its own title. So
Nice.
that one there's going to be 4 books as well, and then uh, okay, those are the only ones I have outlined, and then I have the one I'm currently working on. I don't know how many books there's going to be yet. I'm currently on book 3. I'm trying to outline it. But I feel like it might end up being 5, 6 books, maybe. I'm
Hmm.
not sure yet. Maybe more. We'll see when I get there. I have no idea what the series title or the book titles are going to be yet. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out the plot points, and then I'll figure out the titles.
Hmm.
And then I
Yeah.
can make the covers. And then for my other series, I think my last series, the one that's going to be really long, The series title I already have. Alyssa's sister actually helped me with it a while ago. It's called A Witch's Bond.
Ooh, nice.
Thanks. And then I have the title for the first book, but that's it. Even though I already have up to 10 books planned, and that's only so far as well. I only have the first book actually figured out, which is called The Darkened Soul Coven.
Ooh.
So a lot of series is.
Yeah. But I believe you'll write them all.
Thanks.
You
Especially
got
with how
through
fast I
Jasmine
read.
Perez really fast, so I believe in you.
Thanks. It's almost 10, which means it's
Yeah.
probably almost 11 where you're at. You're probably tired.
A little bit, yeah. So I'm probably gonna ramp things up then. But this was great. It was great hanging out. I know I didn't get much done, but it was great to see you. And I'm so glad we had so many awesome people join us too today.
Yeah. If anyone's still there, it says there's still 2 people here. Definitely follow Robin at the Book Wormhole. Subscribe to her. She's great. And subscribe to me too if you want the Witchy Reader are here. But yeah, I've been getting a lot of subscribers the last few days.
Nice.
Just last week, I swear I only had like 173, 174 subscribers. Now last time I checked, which was earlier today, I had 179. I was like, how did I get this many so fast?
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
Well, good night. I hope you sleep well, and I hope you get through this writer's block you're on.
Me too. But in the meantime, I'm gonna enjoy reading, so it's not all bad.
Too. I'm gonna enjoy reading and outlining and trying to finish with The Witch of Life. So I'll be busy for the rest of the month.
All right, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thank you for joining me. Can't wait for next week's.
Yes, I'll be hosting next week.
Yeah, so definitely subscribe to her so you can keep, because we're doing these sprints every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we switch off between my channel and her channel. So make sure you subscribe if you want to keep in track with them.
Please do. Right. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.